Hi everybody, I'm Anna Marie from Heavenly Healing. I've been wanting for a while now to share my thoughts, my emotions, and my daily life in general as someone, a single mom, living with a child who has cancer. This child lives with me in my own home. Unless you are in the same situation or have had the experience, it is actually very difficult to understand what this actually means. It doesn't really matter if your kid is 5 or if your kid is 55, he or she stays your child. And as a mom, you have the innate need to look after and to protect. I suppose that this is the motherly instinct that everybody talks about. And when you can't look after, when you can't protect, a strange kind of guilt sets in. A guilt because you cannot do what moms do. Look after and protect their offspring. It doesn't matter whether you're human or an animal. This is what moms do in most instances. They look after their kids. When you're faced with cancer, the only thing that you can do is offer love and support and be your child's biggest cheerleader. Because no, you cannot help, you cannot fix, you cannot put the band-aid plaster on and make it go away, because it's there. And in my son's case, it's there to stay. Etienne has myelofibrosis, otherwise known or commonly known as bone marrow cancer. Additionally, he has Crohn's disease and Crohn's arthritis. He was sick for a very long time before finally being diagnosed with myelofibrosis, the cancer. How did he receive the diagnosis? I can remember being in my room and hearing a woman on the phone who had coldly and callously told him via a WhatsApp voice note that he has myelofibrosis. I don't even know, I don't have words actually, how cold, how callous, how cruel. That affected my son, but that affected me as his mother as well. Who was this doctor? Who is this doctor? Offering no emotional support whatsoever. A mom can carry on, well, we think. But the person who has the cancer, no emotional support, cold and callous. Hi Etienne, this is just to let you know you have myelofibrosis. This cruel act left both he and I absolutely shocked and stunned to the core. This has also, sadly, to a great extent, been his and my experience with most of his doctors and specialists, all wanting your money because you've got a top-notch medical aid, but not really interested in you as the person at all. Maybe this is what they do to protect themselves emotionally. Who knows? In our case, my son's GP has been absolutely phenomenal. She's been the professor, the specialist, the caregiver, the you name it, she's been it. And she's a GP. This brings me then to treatment costs. Myelofibrosis doesn't have chemo. That's one of the things that I have realized. The blood cancers. Myelofibrosis is a blood cancer. Very few people know exactly what it is, because when I talk about myelofibrosis or bone marrow cancer, it's, so is your son taking chemo, or is he on chemo? No, there is no chemo. These patients get biologics to keep them alive daily for the rest of their lives. Biologics are pills that they swallow. Etienne's biologics for his myelofibrosis cost 55,000 rand a month. Yes, you heard me. 55,000 rand a month for his Jacavi. That's what the biologic is called. We're not alone in this. Everybody who has myelofibrosis is faced with the same inhuman costs. This is excluding all the other meds, the blood tests, the monthly specialists, the visits, and then, in Etienne's case, the biologics for his arthritis, another 45K every second month. This is one of the reasons that he's on the top medical aid benefit, or option rather. This costs him 12,000 rand a month. Expensive? Yes, absolutely. But this is because neither he or I have 20% of 55,000 or 20% all told of 100,000 per month that his cruel disease costs him. These costs cause sleepless nights, stress, and ulcers, not only for him, but for me, and definitely not conducive to his good health, and definitely not to mine. What will happen if and when he runs out of funds for the medical aid? He'll have to go to a government hospital where they don't have the biologics to keep the cancer at bay. Why? Because the government hospitals do not dispense medication costing 55,000 rand a month. I think we all know how this will end. BackaBuddy is there for a reason, to help those in a situation where they are truly unable to help themselves fully. Never again will I poo-poo BackaBuddy or take them lightly, them and the wonderful work that they do. It angers me though when I see people using BackaBuddy for normal day-to-day expenses, because this creates a little bit of a, how shall we put it, just another BackaBuddy, wonder what this one's about. And in certain cases they are crucial. There are days that Etienne simply cannot work. Myelofibrosis is an old man's disease. My son is 42. Old people, mature people often have, well, should be, on retirement. They can sleep all day when they're feeling really bad. Etienne can't sleep all day because he actually has to work to try and earn an income. Thank goodness he works for himself, so he does have the flexibility. But on the other hand, when you work for yourself, we all know the mantra, no work, no pay. Anyway, the illness, myelofibrosis, Crohn's and Crohn's arthritis. What an evil concoction. Together, combined, they cause debilitating pain. Often, Etienne is sick for 4 or 5 days on end. This puts him into a foul temper, creates incredible moodiness. And who becomes the punch bag? Me. I don't mind. There is no one else. And I'm his mother. And I am there to support him. Nights with raging fever that neither he or I can stop. Days when his legs swell up so badly that he genuinely can't walk. Etienne is not alone in this. All the myelofibrosis sufferers, the Crohn's arthritis sufferers, suffer with these awful, awful side effects of the disease. What I'm trying to do is explain what living with somebody who has cancer is like. I'm sure those of you listening have a friend who has cancer, or have a friend who has a family member who has cancer. And unless you've really lived it, you honestly don't know what it's all about. Who helps me with my emotions? Who helps family members with their emotions? I thank God for the 4 friends who offer emotional support whenever I need it. And with support, I mean true support and a whole bunch of love. And a very special earth angel who allows me about 5 or 6 times a year to help myself financially. People who know us think that our family and our friends are always there to step in and help and support all the time. It's impossible. They can't do this. Why? Because they have their own lives, their own stresses, their own things, their own issues that they are dealing with. Family and friends are not there all the time. This is the reality, and this is actually probably the way life rolls. One of the things that I've learned living with someone who has cancer is that it's actually a very lonely path, one that one walks alone. Why do people shy away? They're embarrassed. They don't know what to say. So they stay away or they say nothing. Why? Because it's easier that way. Another reason is because they're scared. Cancer is scary. Cancer causes people to die. So they don't know what to do. And when you don't know what to do, what do? It's just so much easier to pretend that it doesn't exist or to stay away. And then, often, people are just too self-absorbed and busy with their own lives and daily stresses and simply don't have the time. It's not criticism. It's just genuinely the way life rolls. And then we get the gossip mongers. Aren't they fun? There are loads of them. I have so many people who want the juicy tea about my son's illness to satisfy what? Their own innate need for sensation. I said ta-ta to many of these, both on a personal and a professional level. I'll never forget one day when I went to one of my service providers. I was ill, and instead of treating me properly, she only wanted to know about my son with oohs and ahs, and I know she couldn't wait to tell her partner once I'd left. And then all the free advice givers who actually don't have a clue. As I've said earlier, unless you are or have been in this situation or similar, rather don't give advice, because you absolutely have no clue. If you've never been in a situation like the one I'm in, the appropriate response would be, I have no idea how you're feeling, because I honestly don't. Therefore, I can offer no advice, but I'm here for you. I can hold space for you if you need to talk. Telling me how to treat or not treat my son, who is living with a terminal illness, is not the way to gain my respect, love, or affection. You will only gain my disdain, nothing more. You've not spent the nights nursing a sick person. You've not lived with a debilitating pain day in and day out. You've not watched the child that you love suffer more inhumanely than people should suffer. At the end of the day, living like this is stressful beyond measure. Sleepless nights is often visible the next day on our faces, in our eyes, and the unspoken words. And yet we carry on with our daily lives, offering the love and the support to our children. I know what it feels like, guys. I'm here. I'm living it. I want to start a support group for people living with a family member who has cancer. I believe that we can and we should support one another. Please contact me if you'd like to join my group. Much love, always, Anna Marie.